We begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat, Attawandaran, and Lenape indigenous peoples. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties, including Treaty 6, the London Township Treaty. We are approaching what should be considered the most important 2 minutes of the year. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. We observe 2 minutes of silence. 2 minutes of silence during which we think of the sacrifice of thousands who gave up their future to secure ours. Here today and across this land, civilians join with serving and former members of Canadian Armed Forces who have taken an oath to serve this country first and foremost. We join them to remember and to honor those whose lives were cut short. This cenotaph was consecrated in 1934, and today it serves as a marker, a headstone, if you will, for those who died in conflict, all peacekeeping operations and training exercises since Confederation, from World War I, World War II, Korea, and Afghanistan. Each of the 118,000 is remembered individually here today. This year, 2024, marks the 100th year that the Royal Canadian Air Force took flight, destined to play a major role in gaining and maintaining freedom in Europe. This year marked the 80th anniversary of D-Day and the Battle of Normandy. And 80 years ago, Canadian troops played a major role in the liberation of Belgium and the liberation of the Netherlands. In 1964, 60 years ago, the peacekeeping operations in Cyprus began and continue today. More than 25,000 Canadian Forces members have served in that operation. Some of them are here with us today. And once again this morning, the veterans of Parkwood join us. And you can see them. They're in the buses and the colorful bus that is there as well, parked along Dufferin and Wellington Street. We are honored to have them present with us as they keep their pledge to remember those with whom they serve. The ceremony that we're part of here today is the Act of Remembrance, and it follows a protocol maintained over all these years. We want to say thanks to the Salvation Army Jubilee Brass, conducted by Bandmaster David Rousseau. And once again, our bugler is David Cunningham. He will sound the last post in the rouse on the bugle that was handed down to him by his grandfather, who sounded that last post in the rouse with that very bugle over 100 years ago at Vimy Ridge. The last post was played at the end of the day to signal that the sentry posts were manned and ready for the night. During our remembrance ceremonies, the last post symbolizes the death of a comrade. Playing the lament today will be our piper, Gagan Rai. He is currently a member of the London Police Pipes and Drums, and he served in the British Army Brigade of the Gurkhas, the 2nd Battalion Royal Gurkhas Rifles, and was based in Shorncliffe, Kent, and Sierra Berne. He is a 3rd-generation Gurkhas, following his father and his grandfather. And also contributing with music today is the Catholic Central Chamber Choir and their conductor, Mrs. Shauna Ray. They lead us in singing of the anthems and the hymns, and they will perform a special composition titled In Remembrance as we prepare for the laying of the wreaths. This event today is organized by the Royal Canadian Legion, the City of London, the Canadian Forces, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And we thank the media, Rogers and CTV, for making it possible for you to join us at home. The parade commander is Lieutenant Colonel Ian Haley. The reviewing officer today is HMCS Prevost Commander Michael Butler. Your parade today was led by the massed bands of the London Police Pipes and Drums and Firefighters, by the Canadian Forces Flag Party, the Veterans Guard commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Brian Harris, the Canadian Forces, HMCS Prevost, the 31 Canadian Brigade Group, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police with the RCMP Retirees Association, the City of London Police Firefighters and EMS, and we were followed by community groups and members of the Canadian Forces Cadet Program. Our parade chaplain is Colonel the Right Reverend Nigel Shaw. And now, please join us in the singing of the national anthem that will be followed by the last post and then 2 minutes of silence.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. As we gather in this place of sacred memory, may these words I share now be for some the prayers of your heart, for others a reflection of your heartfelt thanksgiving, and for all, may these words speak to our duty to remember. We are gathered today, hearts filled with gratitude and pride for all those who have served Canada in every time and place, those who made the ultimate sacrifice, as well as those who still carry the wounds of service in body and soul. We are grateful for the supreme sacrifice so many Canadians made and were ready to make on land, in the air, at sea. We are grateful to all the men and women, Anglophone, Francophone, Indigenous peoples, and veterans of many ethnic and religious communities. We are grateful to them for putting their lives on hold and at risk in order to eliminate tyranny and defend liberty. We are grateful to the younger veterans and the older veterans who gather in mutual respect and admiration as partners in the battle against evil. We are grateful to them for fighting our fight to ensure freedom and dignity for everyone. We remember their deeds of courage, their acts of valor, and their willing sacrifice. During this time of remembrance, we think of those families whose lives have been changed by wars, where parents or children have been killed or permanently handicapped, where people have been forced to flee to safety, never to return to their homes. We think of their bravery and courage, their sadness and loneliness, their suffering and pain. We remember and we give thanks that we have not had to live in a country at war. We remember those in trouble, sorrow, or distress, and especially at this time the disabled and wounded, and all who must carry through the years a burden of suffering. Let not our gratitude fail or grow weary, but deepen our sympathy that we may bear one another's burdens. May we comfort the sorrowful and the bereaved, especially those to whose hearts this day brings back the memory of loved ones who have fallen, counting the cost of their own lives as not too high a price to pay for the principles by which we live today.
We will now be led in the singing of the hymn, Abide by Me. As we prepare to lay wreaths, we will take a moment to reflect as the Catholic Central Chamber Choir perform a composition by Eleanor Daly that helps us think of remembrance. It's titled, In Remembrance. Thank you. And now, representatives of our nation, our province, our city, as well as members of today's serving forces and veterans, will lay wreaths to honor and connect with the falling. Those members of the community that have not yet had an opportunity to lay a wreath in advance of the service today are invited to do so following the service. We should keep in mind that each wreath here represents a group of people who acknowledge the sacrifice of those whose lives were given in service to their country. The wreath represents each individual of that organization and is a tribute to each of the soldiers' sacrifice and the connection death in service means to the bountiful life of freedom that we live today. Each wreath laid here today says, we will remember them. Our Silver Cross Mother, Carolyn Wilson, was unable to join us here this morning due to a family emergency. In London, we have a second recipient of the Memorial Cross who joins us today. Angela Cameron Jolly received the Memorial Cross in October of this year. Her son, Brett Cameron, passed while attending Royal Military College of Canada in 2016. She is accompanied today by Sergeant Randy Warren. And now laying a wreath representing Canada and on behalf of Canada is London North Central Centre MP Peter Fragas-Cots, escorted by RCMP Corporal Robert Butler. Also in attendance is London Fanshawe MP Lindsay Matheson. On behalf of the Province of Ontario, London North Centre MPP Terence Kernahan. The wreath bearer is OPP Sergeant Ryan Griffith. Mr. Cunningham is accompanied by MPP Peggy Sattler and London Fanshawe MPP Teresa Armstrong. On behalf of the City of London, His Worship Mayor Josh Morgan, the wreath bearer is London Police Chief Tai Trong. On behalf of the Canadian Armed Forces, Commander HMCS Prevost Michael Butler. The wreath bearer is Petty Officer First Class Matthew Carter. On behalf of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Superintendent McGonigal, with wreath bearer Sergeant Major Damien Smith. On behalf of the Royal Canadian Legion and all veterans, is World War II Navy veteran Al Bunston. During World War II, he was drafted to the cruiser Uganda, which was recognized with battle honors for the invasion of Okinawa, where he served till the end of the war. After the war, the Uganda traveled to ports in New Zealand, Australia, rounded the Cape of Good Hope into the Mediterranean, and ended in Victoria, BC at Naval Base Naden. If you visit the military museum there, you will see a life preserver from the Uganda signed by its shipmates, including that of Mr. Brunstein. His wreath bearer is Lieutenant Commander Mark Vandenbosch. World War II Navy veteran Al Brunston. And our final wreath is laid by the Imperial Order of Daughters of the Empire and will be laid by Etsy Kirchhoff. She is accompanied by wreath bearer Major Bruce Stock. The IODE is responsible for this cenotaph. It was dedicated here on November 10, 1934. And you'll find a brief history of the planning and the organization that started in 1919, and that's included in your program. And you'll note that this is a replica of the cenotaph that stands in Whitehall, London, England. You'll note that there will be others who will lay wreaths, and we ask you to wait until the parade is clear before coming forward to lay that wreath. And now we'll be led by the Catholic Central Chamber Choir, conducted by Miss Shaynor Swain, to join in God Save the King. And then the ceremony will be closed by Parade Chaplain Colonel the Right Reverend Nigel Shaw.
Let us be thankful for the life that is our privilege to enjoy in this land, remembering that it has been won at a great price and must be defended, and remembering that this life must be for all who inhabit this land. We are thankful for the peace we enjoy and for the opportunity that is ours of building a better order of society in this Canada for the generations still to come. We remember with pride and gratitude those who thought on the land, the sea, and in the skies to make this possible. And we pray that the memory of their self-giving may inspire us to invest our energy, our strength, and our resources to the cause of creating a land that truly offers justice and peace to all its children. May we give and not count the cost, fight and not heed the wounds, labor and not seek for rest, work and not ask for reward, save that of knowing that we have kept faith with those who have died, that we have held high the torch that they lit and passed to our hands. As we remember this day those who laid down their lives in a spirit of unselfish service, let us pledge ourselves anew to dedicated lives of service so that we can make Canada what it ought to be. A place where those who are fortunate respond to the needs of those on the margins. A place that honors all traditions and accomplishments, a place where we stand to guard the rights of all against oppression in its many forms. May the memory of those who have died inspire our service to the living.
This concludes our ceremony, and we want to thank you all for attending here this morning. It means a great deal to the veterans and to those who are serving. And we'd like to thank the Salvation Army Jubilee Brass under Bandmaster David Rousseau. You should know, yes. This ceremony is part of the day. This is a day of remembrance, and the Remember November 11 organization is hosting a meet and greet in Centennial Hall. This will be an opportunity for you to meet some veterans and serving members of the forces through displays and to learn more about the people who serve. And as we prepare the march off, we ask your cooperation. The Dufferin Street will need to be cleared there so that the march can proceed down Dufferin, where the parade will go past the reviewing officer, HMCS Prevost Commander Michael Butler, who will be accompanied by London Mayor Josh Morgan to take the salute. So please follow the instructions of the iron workers and the others, and we ask please don't disturb any of the cables that are laid out for our media friends. Thank you once again for being in attendance on this November 11th.
Succession, my guards! Quick march!